Okay, I had one of my followers ask me if the Crime Victims Compensation Fund in Idaho would cover travel for the victims' families in case of change of venue, and then also what funds the Crime Victims Compensation Fund. Now, this person that asked me lives in Alabama, and apparently Alabama does cover travel for the families for change of venue. I cannot find anything in the Idaho fund that states that. Maybe I'm missing something, but we can take a look at what I found. This is just the introductory page, and it talks about when the fund was established and how it works with victims and family members to ensure they understand the benefits available to them. And this talks about benefits you may be eligible for. It talks about payments for physicians and hospital services, medicine, other treatment, mental health treatment, counseling benefits for family members of victims, wage loss, dependent death benefits, and funeral expenses. And this talks about program funding, how they get it from fines for misdemeanors, felonies, sex offenses, judgments opposed on offenders, federal grants, and restitution. But of course, restitution only gets put in there after somebody is found guilty and is ordered to pay restitution. And then this talks about how the crime must have been committed in the state of Idaho after July 1st, 1986. That's when the fund was set up. Must be reported to law enforcement officials within 72 hours of the crime, or there must be good documented cause. Why not? And you have to fully cooperate with law enforcement officials in the investigation and prosecution of the crime. And you must file a claim within 1 year of the crime. Now, if you notice on there, it says it has to be filed within 1 year of the crime happening, or they have to show good cause. But we're almost 2 years down the road from when the crime happened. But I also don't think it covers her parents or her extended family, because let's take a look at where it says the eligibility. So it says, who may file a claim for financial assistance? And it says a victim, the spouse or children of a deceased victim, authorized persons such as a parent or legal guardian of a victim who is a minor. So Kaylee wasn't a minor, and she had no dependents. So I don't think they're eligible for compensation from that fund. Now, they did have those victim rights statements that they signed, but that's a little bit different. The victim rights forms that they signed were things about getting notified when the person's out on parole, things like that, having a right to be at the trial. But I don't see anything in the victim rights forms about funding for travel expenses or a change of venue. So I'm going to keep digging, and if you find anything, let me know. But all of the documents I find under the Crime Victims Compensation Fund only pay for travel for medical expenses. I'll show you real quick. Okay, so this is the pamphlet, and it talks about what the reimbursable expenses are, and it says the program provides benefits to the victim claimant after other sources of payment have been exhausted, which we talked about. And it says medical benefits, physician and hospital services, medication, other approved treatment for eligible crime victim, mental health benefits, funeral benefits, wage loss benefits, compensation for loss of income, dependent death benefits, compensation may be provided for dependents. But see, Kaylee, none of those victims had any dependents. And then family assistance benefits for the victims of sexual assault, violence, kidnapping, homicide, etc., may be eligible for counseling benefits. And then what is not covered, replacement of damaged or stolen property, injury that results from a motor vehicle accident, payments that would benefit an offender and accomplice, treatment for victims who are confined to prison, injury sustained by the victim while engaged in a felony or driving under the influence, and court-ordered treatment. So none of that applies to travel for trial. And if you look under here, under travel reimbursement, it says the program may authorize compensation for necessary travel incurred in connection with obtaining benefits. Mileage reimbursement will be made at the rate allowed by the State Board of Examiners. But everything I'm finding is that is only for like medical benefits. Because up here it also talks about weekly compensation to be provided for wage loss or dependent death benefits, but it talks about the victim's wages and for their dependents. So this will generally be considered to be the ability for the victim to return to their pre-injury employer or occupation. This is all about the victim and not family members. So it's their wages. So like the family member's loss of wages, the person that passed away, that was murdered. So I don't know if the family was even eligible for loss of wages from Kaylee because they're not dependents. She had no children. She had no dependents. See, in these family assistant benefits, it says benefits paid for mental health treatment through family assistant benefits. And I'm just, if you can find it, let me know. I am not finding anything for travel for trial for the family members. Okay, so I'm going to post all the links to all those places on the Idaho website that I found that information. But if you can find something that says they will pay for travel for a change of venue, let me know. But otherwise, it sounds like they don't. And I'm not going to begrudge the Goncalveses or any other families at all for setting up GoFundMes for travel expenses for trial.